Today's topic we'll be discussing about is the First Amendment U.S. Supreme Court cases, especially those dealing with freedom of speech.
The First Amendment states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble.
Over time, the Supreme Court has interpreted the First Amendment in different ways by using judicial review.
Today we will be discussing 4 Supreme Court cases, 2 of which restrain free speech,
and 2 in which expand free speech.
The first case in restraint of the Freedom of Speech Clause is Schenck v. U.S. in 1919. It was during World War I. Schenck was arrested for violating the Espionage Act. Schenck opposed war and printed and distributed pamphlets urging citizens to oppose the draft. Schenck claimed his First Amendment rights were violated. The court ruled against him, saying that the Espionage Act did not violate the First Amendment, and during times of war, the government may place reasonable limitations on freedom of speech. The court also explained that when it creates a clear and present danger existed, such as when shouting fire in a crowded theater, freedom of speech may be limited. The second court case in free speech restraint is Frazier v. Bethel in 1986. A high school student, Frazier, delivered a speech nominating a fellow student for elective office. In that speech, the student referred to his candidate in terms of elaborate, explicit sexual metaphors. The student was suspended for 3 days for violating the school's disruptive conduct, which did not allow conduct that interfered with educational processes, including the use of obscene, profane languages or gestures. The Supreme Court held that the school board acted entirely within its authority on punishing Frazier for his offensively lewd and indecent language. The court ruled a high school assembly or classroom is no place for that type of language. One of the 2 court cases that expanded free speech is Tinker v. Des Moines in 1968. Several students and parents in Des Moines organized a protest of the Vietnam War. Students were to wear black armbands to school in protest. When the school found out, they warned all the students and parents that anyone wearing the armbands would be suspended. The Tinker children wore their armbands to school and were suspended. The Tinkers filed suit, claiming that the school violated the children's right to freedom of speech and expression. The court ruled against the school district, saying that the students do not share their constitutional rights in the schoolhouse gate. The second court case expanding freedom of speech is Texas v. Johnson in 1979. In Dallas, a protest against Reagan's policies had been organized in which, during that time, a United States flag was burned. Johnson, who was responsible, was arrested, sentenced to 1 year in jail and a $2,000 fine. Johnson's conviction, however, was overturned by the Supreme Court of Texas, which ruled that this mode of self-expression was protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution. The Supreme Court upheld this ruling, stating that flag burning was expressive conduct because it was an attempt to convey a particular message. Holding this, it is protected by the freedom of speech.
How is your freedom of speech restrained or expanded in your everyday life?